program manager at a university, a student. It'll be awesome if we can just see who's in the room. And we're going to gear up for our last session of the day, which is going to be about forest service opportunities. We're going to hear from the national recruitment team. They are going to share information about the upcoming collective hiring events, your opportunities to apply to some forest service positions, whether it is permanent positions for recent graduates, student internships, and a lot of other opportunities. And then I will share information about our RAP cohort and how to apply for those positions. So we will get started with that just shortly. Just gonna check and make sure I have my presenters here. I did see Jody. So Jody and Alejandro, are you here?
Hey,
Yes, we
Sylvia,
are,
I'm
Sylvia.
here, but the camera function is turned off, which that's fine. No worries on that. But
Okay. No, I can make sure that we switch you over.
I just changed them on over to presenter. So
Oh, you did? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. That's why we have a team here. It's a team
there you
effort.
go. Nice, that was quick.
All right. So are there any questions from anyone about anything? Just want to allow some space and time and opportunity. Okay. All right. Well, I don't want to prolong the time. We can go ahead and get started with our next session. And I'm going to go ahead and get this screen shared and get started. All right. Well, I'm going to pass it over to Alejandro and Jody. And when you see the screen, you can go ahead and get started.
Thank you, Sylvia.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome once again to this event. At this time, I'm going to recap on our collective hiring events that the Forest Service will be having this hiring season. So the first one we have is the permanent wildland firefighters. The application window are August 26th through September 16th, 2022, September 9th through the 28th of 2022, September 21st through October 11th of 2022. Our partnership coordinators application window was open from September 6th to the 16th. Human resource assistants, the application window for that one is September 9th through the 19th. This is Albuquerque location only. Next window, please. Next slide, please. The next one is the Presidential Management Fellowship Program. This one is an OPM an OPM event, okay? We're just posting for them, letting people know that OPM is doing this event. So that application window is from September 13th to the 27th. Forestry and Timber Careers, it's our SAF. Their application window is September 19th through the 28th. And then we have our temporary seasonal positions. Those application windows are September 29th through October 6th. Okay, and January 12th through the 19th of 2023. Next window, please. I'm sorry, I'm stuck on windows. Next slide. Our STEM career opportunities. Our application windows are October 4th through the 13th. summer temporary internship opportunities. Those application windows are December 26th through January 4th of 2023. Our next year hiring events are the range management, soil and water career opportunities. Their application window will be opening February 21st through March 2nd of 2023. And our last, I'm pretty sure, is the spring agriculture and business career opportunities. Their application window is April 10th through the 23rd. April 10th through the 20th of 2023, sorry. Next slide. And we host webinars. These webinars are cover basically how to navigate and do resumes and that on USA Jobs. So our next webinar will be tips for job seekers, and that's going to be Wednesday on October 21st at 3 till 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Navigating USA Jobs will be 9:28 from 3 to 4 Mountain Time. And then Federal Resume on October 5th, same time, 3 to 4 Standard Time. And I will drop links to these webinars in the chat for you all, so that way you can have them so you guys could join us. Next slide, please. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. There you'll see what the Forest Service is hiring for and all their events. Next slide, please. And here is where we're going to be able to help you as national recruiters. We can answer any of your questions. We can help you with your resumes. We can go through USA Jobs with you, explain, what qualifications you may need. We're here to basically answer all your questions when it comes to you looking for a career with the Forest Service, okay? So you can always email us at sm.fs.recruiting@usda.gov. Your new career starts here. This is where we offer potential applicants or anybody that's interested in knowing what the Forest Service has to offer, and that is our job seeker database. This is where you can sign up. We send out weekly emails that occur every Friday, and that this will give you all the information to upcoming hiring events, current positions that are open, and links to all our webinars. Okay, and last is our consultations. We offer a 30-minute consultation, but don't mind if you go over. And this is where we can help you decide if the Forest Service is a place that you would want to work. We go over different job opportunities, the hiring authorities, whatever you want to discuss. That's what we're there for. And this is where you would be able to talk to the National Strategic Recruitment Team. We have 12 recruiters. You can pick from any one that you would like to have a consultation with. And all these links I will drop into the chat for you. And now I'll turn it over to Sylvia.
Thank you so much, Jody. So before I go into my wrap opportunities, I want to expand a little bit more about these career fairs and these hiring events that you were just speaking about. So I'm going to just kind of go back in the slides because there's a couple points that I think are very important to note. One of the things, if you can, Jody or Alejandro, talk a little bit more about the positions that are associated with the hiring events. As you guys know, that with the Forest Service, we have a lot of different positions, but sometimes one may not always understand what those positions are, and especially with the titles of our hiring events, they still may not understand what positions kind of fall under that category. So if it at all possible, if we can just kind of go back and maybe if you guys can kind of share what the positions are, and anything that might be important for one to know. Just as an example, also for the audience, for the partnership coordinator's position, it will close tomorrow on the 16th. However, there is a cap of the applications that are being accepted for those positions. So if there is an interest in those partnership positions, then you're going to want to go ahead and get your application in as soon as possible. Not sure where we are on that application cap as of right now, but there could be an opportunity for you to still make it in. So if you're interested, go ahead and put your application in. But is there any way, Alejandro, you or Jody could kind of just expand a little bit more about the different hiring events and the positions that might fall within that hiring event, as well as talk a little bit about what that PMF program was that she spoke about? Is that possible?
Hey, but yeah, definitely I can jump in on that. Let me actually share my screen because I think
Okay.
our recruitment and hiring webpage is going to be a great resource for anybody that's interested in any of these opportunities. So let me go ahead and share
Okay, go
that, and then
for
we
it.
can just walk through that, and then also walk through some of the opportunities that Jody was discussing here. So let me actually put this in, and if you don't mind, Jody, while I do kind of share about these hiring events, if you can put the link to our recruitment and hiring webpage, that way folks can access it, and if you want, you can follow along as well. So I'll just start from the beginning of the page, actually. The webinars that Jody was discussing, the upcoming webinar event schedule is right here, so we keep it up to date so that you can access it when the next webinar is going to be available. So these are links to register for each of the webinars. And then if you register for a webinar, then you will have access to the recording link as long as you save it. So if you have to leave early for one reason or another, or if you weren't able to make it for one reason or another, then you have access to that link. And then you can just go back and listen to the webinar. And then we do host a Q&A session afterwards, where you can ask any questions pertaining to a specific hiring event or any questions related to your situation. We try to make it as general as possible, so just keep that in mind when asking questions during those webinar sessions. To go into detail for the hiring events. So the Wildland Fire hiring event, this one, there's a few dates that Jody mentioned. So it's August 26th through September 6th for Region 5. And for those not familiar with the Region 5, that's pretty much California. So opportunities for California. And then September 9th through 28th, it's Region 2, 3, 8, and 9. And there's quite a few states there. I mean, 8 and 9 is pretty much the northeast and the southeast part of the United States. Region 3 is Arizona and New Mexico, and Region 2 is a lot of Colorado and surrounding areas there. September 21st through October 11th, this is for Regions 1, 4, and 6. 6 is pretty much the Pacific Northwest. 4 is kind of like Nevada, Utah, that area, and then 1, a large part of Montana, Idaho. And a lot of these positions being offered here are going to be entry-level fire positions. So if it's at a region or at a GS3 level, then folks that maybe don't have that fire experience but have general, what is required is general experience. So 6 months of general experience, and that's a pretty broad category. When you go into the job announcement, just go through what the requirements are, and it'll tell you kind of the example of what general experience is. So kind of some like manual labor, basically. But I can tell you, I started my career as a seasonal wildland firefighter, and I didn't have any of that experience. I was actually in customer service before I jumped into seasonal wildland firefighter. So, but a lot of these opportunities are going to be for permanent positions at an entry level. So it would be a good opportunity for those folks that want to pursue a career in wildland fire. And then here, the careers in wildland fire page, you can get more information and it'll take you to each region's fire page. Some of those fire pages have contact information for those individuals, those points of contact for the region specific to fire. So you can reach out to some of those folks if there's a region that you're interested in pursuing a career in fire and get more detailed information from them. Okay, the partnerships. Yeah, Silvio mentioned that that is going to be up pretty soon, and there is a cap. Most of the positions, and I can kind of tell you, they haven't met that cap. So if you apply by tomorrow, you could have a good chance, because even if the cap is met by tomorrow, you still have until midnight Eastern to turn in your application. So, and tomorrow is the last day anyway. So if you are curious or interested in one of these positions, kind of gives you a brief description of what the position is. So this one is a partnership with your local community. So projects in your local community, tying the Forest Service with local communities to manage the natural resources. And I think it is worth going into the link here, because it'll tell you what the grade is for the position. So if you don't have, maybe experience as a partnership coordinator, there's a trainee position and it goes on the list. But there's also a map here. And let me go ahead and hit OK. A map of where the positions are located. So like, for example, I'm in Albuquerque right now. I can click on here. It'll give me more information, and it'll also give me information, contact information, if I can get to that. So let me expand that.
Okay,
There
so
it
what
is.
was he doing that grandpa wanted to send him back there?
I'm sorry? Okay. So if you want to reach out to the hiring manager, there's contact information for that position. So if you're interested, then go ahead and reach out and get more detailed information as well. Okay, let's go back. The PMF. So like Jody was mentioning, this is through the Office of Personnel Management, and this program is an opportunity for folks pursuing graduate degrees or PhDs to kind of go through a program, a development program, and at the end of the program, they're what they call finalists, and they're kind of in a pool, and different federal agencies can reach out to those folks and see if they're interested in working for that agency in a particular position, depending on what their background is. So what the application window is pretty much just an application to be considered. It's not that if you submit your application, you're going to be a PMF. It's just submitting application for consideration. Okay, and then more information, if you want to get more in depth on that, you can visit opm.pmf or OPM PMF program webpage here. Okay, and for the forestry and timber career opportunities, the open date, like Jody mentioned, September 19th through the 28th, so that's here pretty soon. We'll click on the forestry and timber career opportunities webpage, and it'll give you a breakdown of all the opportunities here. So we have a few intern positions. So GS2 for current vocational students, and it's pretty entry level, and then GS3 and 4, like it says here, for undergraduate. And then we have positions for recent graduates or merit promotion, so basically folks internal to the agency or federal government. And it gives you a breakdown of what grades are for each of the positions. So forestry technicians, that could be timber markers. I believe sometimes they do have wildland fire positions. Forestry technician is a pretty broad series, which can include recreation folks, timber folks, fire folks, wilderness folks. So it's a pretty broad series, kind of a catch-all series for that technician, and then fire management specialist and fuels trainee. Okay, we'll go back. Temporary job opportunities. That's going to be a whole list of temporary job opportunities. So let's see what they have here under the temporary job opportunity webpage. Here we have the pretty much your seasonal, like kind of how I got my start, seasonal, forestry technician and fire, recreation, timber, how I mentioned. But unlike the forestry event that we have prior to this, these positions are just seasonal positions. Biological science technician for wildlife, also for plants, and hydrologic technician. Okay, and if you want to get more in depth, I encourage you to visit the web pages for each one of these hiring events. Let's see, for the STEM career opportunities, which is coming up here now in October, which is not too far away. Let's see what they have to offer for those opportunities. Okay, so a couple more or a few more internship opportunities. And then for recent graduates or merit internal to the agency, basically, positions for civil engineers, land surveyors, ecologists, and engineering technicians, as well as a GIS position as well. Okay, we can keep on going down the list. The summer temporary internship opportunities. This is a great opportunity for folks either in high school or just out of high school. It's also not their intern NTEs, so not to exceed, so kind of like a temporary position as well, basically for the summer. So it's a great opportunity for those just getting out of high school or in high school to kind of see what a career in natural resources would be like. And, you know, hopefully we catch them and they make a great career out of it and make great employees for the Forest Service. Let's see, the range management soil. It's this is what we used to call a Society of Range Management. It was linked to that conference. We decided to not to title it that because a lot of folks were thinking that you had to attend these conferences to be able to apply. So we wanted to make it as general as possible so that error wasn't made anymore. And kind of like it said here, range management positions, soil scientist positions, hydrology positions will also be a part of this career hiring event. And then the spring agriculture and business career opportunities. This was linked to, and still is linked to, the Manners Conference. So kind of like what you see here, these would be some of the opportunities that are offered: agriculture, ag business, agriculture economics, natural resource positions, and environmental studies and business. Those are positions that will be open to the folks with those backgrounds. We still don't have a full listing of the positions that will be available, but as it gets closer, visit this webpage and that information will be populated. And these two are for events that have already passed, so we won't go over that. But as I keep on going through our webpage, you have information on what to expect after you apply. You have the Human Resource Office number. So this is a good number to keep in mind. Say you submitted an application and you haven't heard back for a while, or you know your status hasn't been updated in USA Jobs, then you can call this number, select option 2, and create a ticket so that you can inquire about the status of your application. And if you weren't referred, there's also the possibility of seeing where in the process were you disqualified, so that you know next time when you apply not to make that same mistake. So a lot of great information can be received from reaching out and creating a ticket to inquire about the status of your application or why you were disqualified from a position. And sometimes if you feel that you were qualified, you know, not too many people know about it, but you can also ask for a second review. And sometimes folks have, after a second review, have been referred just because, you know, it is people that are reviewing these resumes and don't make mistakes often, but sometimes, you know, some stuff falls through the crack. So if you truly feel that you were qualified and eligible for the position, you can ask for that second review. And sometimes it does happen where folks get referred by that second review. Okay, here's a link to that job seeker database as well to get email notifications every Friday on current and upcoming hiring events. To book a consultation, you can click this link here, and it'll take you to the Microsoft Bookings page. You can also, before you book, view the full list of our national recruiters and their biographies. Then just the last thing, application process scenario questions. And then if you are a professor or part of a different organization, you can fill out this quick survey to request for the national team to present a webinar or provide one of our service or speak to your class, and we will review those requests and answer accordingly. All righty, Sylvia. Did anybody have any other questions, or is there anything else that you wanted to add?
All right. Does anyone have any questions for Alejandro or Jody about the collective hiring events? You may use the chat box or the hand raising function to answer your question. Ask your question. Sorry.
Yeah, I know it was a lot of information that I just threw at you. So if you don't have a question now, and let me turn on my camera. It's always like, is it good to just go through all that information all at once, or, you know? But reach out to us via consultation. And if you have questions, you know, take an opportunity to review all the information on there. And if you have questions, then you can reach out to one of us and we can go over it in detail with you. See,
Okay,
Kay.
looks like we do have a hand. Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Kay, you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Yes, I guess I've always never really understood. There's a, our local forest will send us an announcement, but I think it's not actually a hiring announcement. It's just, I think the Forest Service is just wanting to know if there's interested applicants in the area or people interested
So
in
like
that
an
job.
outreach notice?
Yeah. So what makes the difference between an official recruitment notice and an outreach notice?
So an outreach notice, you typically, and let me know if you're familiar with like the outreach database, okay? That's typically what you'll see there. And it's basically hiring managers or, you know, points of contact for a hiring manager, putting a notice out to see who is interested in the position. And sometimes these positions are in USA Jobs, but sometimes they're not. And so when they're not, it's basically them just garnering interest to see who would be interested in applying, see if they can get folks to that are interested that possibly can get hired non-competitively, and then for recruitment or for a vacancy announcement, that's already something that's in USA Jobs. That's something that folks have to go into USA Jobs to apply for, and depending on what the eligibilities are. They can be open to veterans, they can be open to students, and so on. I don't know if you were here yesterday when I went through the eligibilities presentation, but there's a whole bunch of different eligibilities or hiring paths that people can use or agencies can use to post their jobs. So that's basically the difference.
All right, thank you.
Of course. And those consults aren't just available for folks outside the agency. If anybody, you know, within the Forest Service or USDA or anybody on this call that's with another agency or organization can reach out to us, and, you know, we can discuss more of the opportunities that we have or clarify more stuff. I know sometimes people feel more comfortable in a one-on-one setting. I know I do. And so that's there for anybody. That resource is there for anybody that wants to use it. And we're happy when people do.
I guess one more question, just in case
Yeah.
someone asks me and I say, oh, Joe, here's an email that I was given. It's sm.fs. What does the
Mhm.
SM stand for?
I'm not 100% sure on the SM. I think that's just like how it's set up, like internally. Because it's like a group email, so it doesn't go to a particular person. It's a group email that multiple people have access to it and can go in there. But I don't know if you have specific details, Sylvia, on why the SMFS. I think it's just because it's that group email, right? That's basically how they label it.
Yeah, that's how they label all of the group emails in the agency. So it's not really sure what it stands for.
Yeah, I know.
And then this is
No.
the group email that if someone wants to reach out to your recruiter, this is
Mhm.
who would have sent an email to you. Okay.
Exactly. Mhm. And since you spoke to me and Jody today, you can address it to either Jody or myself, and they'll forward it directly to us. We also have access to it, so periodically we'll check in there. But we have a set team that goes through our recruitment email daily to respond to folks. But if you address it to one of us, and they'll just forward it over to us, and then we can, create that dialogue. All right. Anybody else?
All right.
Like that Forest Service polo, by the way, Sylvia.
Thank
It's
you.
nice.
It's
Yeah.
my new wrap when I have all the recruitment teams now have a wrap.
Nice. I like it. I think it's better than all
Thank
the
you.
other recruitment polos that you had. Nice.
It is. All right. If there aren't any questions, I will go right into the Resource Assistant Program cohort and our opportunities. So, as Alejandro and Jody talked about the collective hiring events, those positions that you must go through USA Jobs to apply for, I am now going to talk a little bit about the Resource Assistant Program positions that we have. So, earlier this morning, I gave you guys an overview of the Resource Assistant Program, and I talked about the